You are entering a zone where religion is banished. Talk of Jesus, theories, scripture, and the esoteric is the forefront. Can you handle it? Hope everyone is having a good, or had a good week, shall we say. Today we'll be resuming in Jubilees. We'll just be going over a couple of chapters. Seems like that kind of works the best. As usual, the link to buy this book to either read it for yourself or read along is in the description. Book is the Book of Jubilees, which is translated by R.H. Charles. For those who are on the live, that's it. If you're, as usual, if you're interested in supporting this podcast, head over to patreon.com/thegothicmystic. Be sure to throw in any comments or questions as we go through. All right, let's see here. And I'd say we just jump right into it. Oop. Can't lose the bookmark. Alright, so chapter 16. And on the new moon of the 4th month, we appeared unto Abraham at the oak of Mamre, and we talked with him, and we announced to him that a son would be given to him by Sarah his wife. And Sarah laughed, and she heard that we had spoken these words with Abraham, and we admonished her, and she became afraid, and denied that she had laughed on account of the words. And we told her the name of her son, and his name is ordained and written in the heavenly tablets, Isaac. And that when we returned to her at a set time, she would have conceived a son, and in this month the Lord executed his judgments on Sodom and Gomorrah and Zeboim and all the region of the Jordan, and he burned them with fire and brimstone, and destroyed them until this day. Even as, lo, I have declared unto thee all their works, that they are wicked and sinners exceedingly, and that they defile themselves, and commit fornication in their flesh, and work uncleanness on the earth. Page turn. And in like manner God will execute judgment on the places where they have done according to the uncleanness of the Sodomites, like unto the judgment of Sodom. But Lot we saved, for God remembered Abraham, and sent him out from the midst of the overthrow. And he and his daughters committed sin upon the earth, such as had not been on the earth since the days of Adam till his time. For the man lay with his daughters, and beheld, it was commanded and engraven concerning all his seed on the heavenly tablets to remove them and root them out, and to execute judgment upon them like the judgment of Sodom, and to leave no seed of the man on earth on that day of condemnation. And in the month Abraham moved from Hebron, and departed, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur on the mountains of Gerar. And in the middle of the 5th month he moved them thence, and dwelt in the well of the oath. And in the middle of the 6th month the Lord visited Sarah, and did unto her as he had spoken, and she conceived. And she bare a son in the 3rd month, and in the middle of the month, at the time of which the Lord had spoken to Abraham, on the festival of the first fruits of the harvest, Isaac was born. And Abraham circumcised his son on the 8th day. He was the first that was circumcised according to the covenant which is ordained forever. And in the 6th year of the 4th week, we came to Abraham to dwell to the well of the oath, and we appeared unto him, as we had told Sarah that we should return to her, and she would have conceived a son. And we returned in the 7th month, and found Sarah with child before us. And we blessed him, and we announced to him all the things that had been decreed concerning him, that he should not die till he should beget 6 sons more, and should see them before he died, but that in Isaac should his name and seed be called, and that all the seed of his sons should be Gentiles, and be reckoned with the Gentiles. But from the son of Isaac one should become a holy seed, and should not be reckoned among the Gentiles, for he should become the portion of the Most High. And all his seed had fallen into the possession of God, that it should be unto the Lord a people for his possession above all nations, and that it should become a kingdom and priests and a holy nation. And we went our way, and we announced to Sarah all that we had told him, and they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And he built there an altar to the Lord, who had delivered him, and who was making him rejoice in the land of his sojourning. And he celebrated a festival of joy in this month 7 days near the star which he had built at the oath of the well the oath. And he built booths for himself and for his servants on this festival, and he was the first to celebrate in the feast of the tabernacles on the earth. And during these 7 days, he brought each day to the altar a burnt offering to the Lord, 2 oxen, 2 rams, 7 sheep, 1 he-goat for a sin offering, that he might atone thereby for himself and for his seed. And as a thank offering, 7 rams, 7 kids, 7 sheep, and 7 he-goats for their fruit offering and their drink offerings. And he built all the fat thereof on the altar, and chose a chosen offering unto the Lord for a sweet swelling savor. And morning and evening he burnt fragrant substances, frankincense, and galbanum, and stacte, and nard, and myrrh, and spice. In custom all these 7 he offered, crushed, mixed together, in equal parts, and pure. And he celebrated this feast during 7 days, rejoicing with all his heart and with all his soul, he and all those who were in his house. And there was no stranger with him, nor any that was uncircumcised. And he blessed his Creator, who had created him in his generation, for he had created him according to his good pleasure, for he had perceived that from him he would arise the plant of righteousness for eternal generations, and from him a holy seed, so that it should become like him who had made all things. And he blessed and rejoiced, and he called the name of this festival the festival of the Lord, a joy acceptable to the Most High God. And we blessed him forever, and all his seed after him throughout all the generations of the earth, because he celebrated this feast in its season according to the testimony of the heavenly tablets. For this reason it is ordained on the heavenly tablets concerning Israel, that they should celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days with joy. In the 7th month, acceptable before the Lord, a statute forever throughout their generations every year. And to this there is no limit of days, for it is ordained forever regarding Israel, that they should celebrate it, and dwell in booths, and set wreaths upon their heads, and take leafy boughs and willows from the brook. And Abraham took branches of palm trees, and the fruit of the goodly trees, and every day going around the altar with the branches seven times a day. In the morning he praised and gave thanks to his God for all things in joy. 17. And in the first year of the 5th week Isaac was weaned in this jubilee. And Abraham made a great banquet on the 3rd month. On the 3rd day his son Isaac was weaned, and Ishmael the son of Hagar the Egyptian was before the face of Abraham his father in his place. And Abraham rejoiced and blessed God because he had seen his sons and had not died childless. And he remembered the words that he had spoken to him on the day on which Lot had parted from him, and he rejoiced because the Lord had given him his seed upon the earth to inherit the earth. And he blessed with all his mouth the Creator of all things. And Sarah saw Ishmael playing and dancing, and Abraham rejoicing with great joy. And she became jealous of Ishmael, and said to Abraham, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman will not be heir with my son Isaac. And the thing was grievous in Abraham's sight, because of his maidservant and because of his son, that he should drive them from him. And God said to Abraham, Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the child and because of the bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken to her words, and do them. For in Isaac shall my name and seed be, but for the son of this bondwoman I will make him a great nation, because he is of thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and took bread and a bottle of water, and placed them on the shoulders of Hagar and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, and the water in the bottle was spent. And the child thirsted and was not able to go on, and fell down. And his mother took him and cast him under an olive tree, and went and sat her down over against him at the distance of a bow shot. For she said, Let me not see the death of my child. And as she sat and wept, an angel of God, one of the holy ones, said unto her, Why weepest thou, Hagar? Arise, take the child, and hold him in thine hand, for God hath heard thy voice, and hath seen the child. And she opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled her bottle with water, and she gave her child to drink, and arose and went towards the wilderness of Paran. And the child grew and became an anchor, and God was with him, and his mother took him a wife from among the daughters of Egypt, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Nebaioth. And she said, The Lord was nigh to me when I called up on him. And it came to pass in the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in the 1st month in this jubilee, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, that he was faithful in all that he told him, and that he loved the Lord, and that in every affection he was faithful. And the prince Mastema came and said before God, Behold, Abraham loves Isaac his son, and he delights in him above all things else. Bid him offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and thou wilt see if he will do this commandment, and thou wilt know if he is faithful in everything wherein thou dost try him. And the Lord knew that Abraham was faithful in all his afflictions, for he had tried him through his country and with famine, and tried him with the wealth of kings, and tried him again with his wife. And when she had torn from him, and with circumcision, and he tried him through Ishmael and Hagar, his maidservant, when he sent them away. And in everything wherein he had tried, he was found faithful, and his soul was not impatient, and he was not slow to act, for he was faithful and a lover of the Lord. Interesting. So it actually shows the building of trust that Abraham had with the Lord, because all the trying and he was found faithful. Okay. Alright, so we're stopping there. It seems like that's always the best place, kind of the best timing. I'm looking to have a podcast this weekend, so if you're able to, be sure to tune in for that. And until either Monday or Tuesday or the podcast this weekend, I hope y'all have a good weekend. Everyone, take care.